Hey guys, so today I want to make a very quick video here just because I don't have the Nexus 4 but instead I want to make this kind of like comparison video where I'm going to go ahead and compare it against the Galaxy S3 because I've been looking at the specs on GSM Arena and I will probably pick up the Nexus 4 a little bit later. But I looked at the specs and compared it against the Galaxy S3 and I was thinking about doing a video here quickly talking about it and doing like a quick comparison here. So if you go ahead and start off, the Galaxy S3 came out in May this year. This new Nexus 4 obviously is from LG and the Galaxy S3 is from Samsung. And the LG Nexus 4 came out here in November. The big things here that is better with the Galaxy S3 in the beginning here when we talk about the specs is what I call HWTL. The Galaxy S3 is higher, it's wider, it is thinner, okay, and it's a little bit lighter. So it's a little bit higher, it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit lighter, and also it's a little bit thinner. That's the four things there in the beginning that you need to know. There's really not extremely big deal, but it is a little bit higher and wider and a little bit lighter and a little bit thinner. The Galaxy S3 compared to the new Nexus 4. So that's the first thing. If you go ahead now and look at the displays, the new LG Nexus 4 is having a little bit smaller display than the Galaxy S3. It has a 4.7-inch Super IPS LCD screen that I haven't really seen in action. But I will do it if I get the Nexus 4 and can do a full review of it. While of course the Galaxy S3 has this kind of 4.8-inch screen, the Super AMOLED screen that Samsung usually is using. If you now look also at the memory, here is also a place where Samsung Galaxy S3 kind of crushed the Samsung Galaxy S4 or it crushed LG Nexus 4 of course. Because first you can have a micro SD card. Then also there is like a 64GB variant of the Galaxy S3 out, while the Nexus 4 will be sold cheaply. That's a good thing with the Nexus 4 though. But it won't come with a SD card. I don't even think it has a removable battery like the Galaxy S3. But the good thing about it is that it's pricing. But it will only come in 18 and 16GB variants. So something that's very, very bad there if you need a lot of space, So you can buy a 64GB Galaxy S3 plus an SD card at 64GB. That makes that you have like over 100GB that you can use for movies and things like that. Now, if you go ahead and look at the RAM now, 2GB, that's what you get on the Nexus 4 on all of the variants. While the Galaxy S3 came out earlier this year, so it's not really available in 2GB variants all over the place. There are some variants in the States that has 2GB. Then there's way more variants on the Galaxy S3 that only has 1GB RAM. And I really haven't felt like a major difference in terms of this because I've been in Galaxy S3 used for 6 months and then I went to the Galaxy S2 that has 2GB RAM. I didn't really feel that of a big difference though, but I might not be that much of an extreme multitasker, but I think that if you do a lot of multitasking, 1GB RAM there will really make a difference. Now, if you go ahead and look at the camera, I haven't tried out the camera, but if I get the Nexus 4, of course, I will do like a cool review there and checking out the camera a little bit more. But they should both rock, of course, an 8-megapixel camera, and then also they have a camera there on the front, which is an 1.9-megapixel camera on the Galaxy S3, where it's only a 1.3-megapixel on the Nexus. The Nexus 4 camera. I remember the Galaxy Nexus from last year. It had an amazing front-facing camera, and so it's not all about the megapixels, but I need to check this out if it's really that good. So that's also kind of interesting. Also, one very big advantage here, of course, Nexus 4 is that you get the latest Android update first. So this device is shipped out with Android 4.2. It's still Jelly Bean though. While the Galaxy S3 now just recently is getting the Android 4.1 Jelly Bean update, 4.1.2 actually, if we should be a little bit specific here. Also, the chipset that's being used in the Nexus 4 is the Qualcomm APQ8064. I'm pretty sure it's almost kind of the same as in Nokia Lumia 920 there, because I remember kind of the name. And of course, Samsung is using their own Exynos chipset, a 4412. You're going to probably see Exynos 5 next year, and on the Samsung Galaxy S4 that we could already see in CES in January next year. Now, if you go ahead and look now, of course they are both using quad-core processor, 1.5 GHz Crate one on the Nexus 4 that I haven't really tried out, but I'm pretty sure it should be kind of dope, the dopest of them dopes right now, because it's the latest high-end smartphone and all those things. While the Galaxy S3 is rocking the 1.4 GHz quad-core processor based on Cortex A9. The GPU is of course Adreno 320 on the Nexus 4, while Samsung is still using Mali 400 that they also use, Mali 400 MP that they used in the Galaxy S2, but they kind of overclocked it. But Adreno 320, that's way better than at least the Nokia Lumia 920, which I tried out, which has the GPU Adreno 225 something that kind of almost lags when you already just play Angry Birds. But Adreno 320 should be a lot better. It would be fun for me to go ahead and try it out a little bit more. And also, in terms of battery, they have the same amount, 2100 milliamps. So of course, that's very, very exciting. If I get this phone, of course I will do an unboxing. Of course I will do a review. Of course I will compare it against other phones. But right now, this is the only thing I can do. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Overall, it doesn't really seem, when you look at the specs, that there's any major advantages, with each of the device. They kind of have the similar specs. So the big things probably are pricing, and then if you want to get the latest version of Android first, and then also of course I have to check out the camera. I might find some other awesome cool things with the Nexus 4 when I get it, if I get it. So yeah, just have an awesome day right now, and I'll see you all in the next video. Yep, peace out.